Hello and good afternoon to all of our interested scholars out there in virtual land. We are excited that you are here with us for our next edition of our entry year 2025 JAMP Live Office Hours. Today will be a discussion with one of our JAMP Medical School Coordinators. We are very excited to have a special guest here today, and we have a pretty interesting segment for you all. As always, if you guys do have any questions or comments, we will be having a question and answer portion at the end of our segment. So feel free to hold on tight to those questions and put those in the comment section of whatever platform you're viewing us from today. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So on behalf of the JAMP administration, which does include Dr. Matthew Meeks, who is our Texas Health Education Service Executive Director, Dr. Nina Gonzalez, the Director of JAMP, myself, the Associate Director, and then also Jennifer Koenig, who is our JAMP Program Manager. And we are also joined here by our Medical School Coordinator, but in a moment, I will allow him the opportunity to introduce himself. So today, just some objectives for our meeting. We're going to provide you with an overview of JAMP, specifically talking about our JAMP community. We are going to introduce Mr. Truong, who is here. We are going to have a structured Q&A time. We are going to go ahead and kind of overview the deadlines that are approaching. And then we're also going to go ahead and open the floor for a Q&A. So if you have any questions for the JAMP administration or for our medical school coordinator, feel free to have those for us and get those ready for the end of our segment. So just to overview what JAMP is and why you guys have all tuned in today, is JAMP is Texas's medical workforce pipeline program, and it was introduced by the Texas legislature in 2003, and it's a way for Texas to increase the pipeline for medical students, and it's really to open up the access to more scholars who may be underprivileged or come from a more socioeconomically disadvantaged background. And so it's really here to provide opportunities and support with hopes that you're able to successfully matriculate into medical school. And so the program really, again, provides that support for our students. And with that, it's all across Texas. So there are 68 public and private four-year undergraduate institutions, and we also have 14 medical schools. And with our medical schools, they're a part of our JAMP community. And within our JAMP community, if you see by the diagram, there's a special section right here, which is our JAMP Medical School Coordinators. And they are very important. We have one medical school coordinator at each medical school. So we have 14 medical school coordinators, and they really have a direct hand in providing you all hands-on direct support and mentorship. So at this time, I do want to go ahead and introduce our medical school coordinator who is here, and allow him to introduce himself.
Thank you so much for the warm welcome. My name is Chris Truong, and I am the Associate Director of Admissions and Recruitment for Sam Houston State University College of Osteopathic Medicine. And I also serve as the Medical School Coordinator for JAMP at our campus. It's so good to be here, and thanks so much for having me.
Of course, we're so happy that you are here. And as a really intricate part of our community, it's important for our entry year 2025 applicants to hear directly from one of our stakeholders in this big program we have across Texas. So at this time, we're going to talk a little bit more, and I'm going to ask you some questions. So the first one, what is the role of an MSC or medical school coordinator if you're not aware of what medical MSC is? So what is the role within JAMP?
Yeah, medical school coordinators do a lot of things behind the scenes, but then also a lot of things with our scholars once they join the program. So talking a little bit about the behind the scenes work, they meet with the council and advocate for our scholars throughout every council meeting, in addition to coordinating and assisting with the JAMP program interviews every year, and help selecting the scholars for each cohort. A big part of the role is also planning, coordinating, and executing the summer internship programs, which I think is one of the most fantastic opportunities that JAMP scholars get access to during their time in the JAMP program. These summer internships are a month-long experience where you get access to medical school style curriculum, professionalism development, access to clinical preceptorships, along with great service opportunities and cultural enrichment that are really just incredible and so unique compared to any other pathway program across the state or really across the nation. And medical school coordinators play a big role in coordinating and planning and doing both the behind the scenes work of that, but also the day-to-day working with the scholars, helping them as they're here for the summer internships, building relationships, assisting you in building community with fellow scholars that are interested in becoming physicians together, and really just, being there with you, being mentors throughout your application to medical school process. And then once you do matriculate to medical school, kind of assisting and guiding you through medical school and the challenges and the benefits and the successes that you'll experience as a JAMP scholar at medical school. So it's kind of the whole totality of your experience through the program. And it's really a pleasure to get to serve in a capacity where we get to support you so closely in your journey to becoming a physician.
Yes, that is such a great overview that you were able to provide. You guys, medical school coordinators are very essential to a part of our JAMP community. They really have the experience from being at the medical schools where they're able to really be a mentor and provide guidance and talk to you about certain things that maybe people who are not directly at the medical schools can't provide that insight. So if you become a part of JAMP, whenever you have the opportunity to engage with your medical school coordinator, definitely go into those conversations wanting to kind of soak up some of their knowledge and ask questions. They're definitely a great resource for you. So the next question that I have is, what is your role? We have said that you are at one of our 14 medical schools. Can you let us know what medical school you're at and what is your role currently?
Yeah, so I'm at Sam Houston State University College of Osteopathic Medicine, which is one of 3 DO programs across the state. And so we offer the Doctor of Osteopathic Medicine, which is one of the 2 accredited medical pathways for physicians here in the United States. And here at Sam Houston State University, I serve as the Associate Director of Admissions and Recruitment. And so I guide students from prospective students that are interested in becoming physicians one day and guiding them through our enrollment funnel from interview days to our other recruitment events until hopefully they matriculate to our campus and become one of our wonderful student doctors. So really everything from talking to prospective students to guiding them and interviewing them for suitability for admissions, coordinating with our admissions committee, and making those big decisions regarding applicants' futures in our program. Those all fall under my role and my team. And so it's a very cool role that I get to be in. And I kind of like to joke, not really joke, I like to say that I'm in the business of making dreams come true. And I really feel like this is such a cool place to see candidates kind of see those dreams of becoming a physician come to a reality.
Yes, I'm going to take that. I do love that. We're really here to support you all with reaching your goals and being a physician. And with your role as being the associate director, and being right there with admissions and through the process and helping the students, I really love how you're able to be in that position and really have that experience, because you can't always just have those kinds of conversations with everybody, and really be able to see, okay, what's going on with medical school? Is there anything I need to know? Can it really ask you those types of questions? It's important. So with that, that kind of leads me into my next question. So how does your experience in your role kind of align and impact your role as a medical school coordinator, as a mentor, a coach, be able to provide that guidance?
Yeah, I think I really have an insider's perspective of what it takes to get you from point A, being interested in becoming a physician, and getting you to point B, which is becoming a student doctor at our institution. I have a funny background in my journey to higher ed. I was actually a prospective medical student way back in the day. Got my degrees in biology, took my MCAT, did the whole application process, and then discovered that I just loved working with students. I loved higher education. I loved advocating for, student streams, which is kind of what has led me to this part of higher ed and medical school admissions. But I've had the experience of both applying for medical school and then also being on the other side of reading applications, seeing the numerous applications that come through to our program, and being able to make those hard decisions and know what helps an applicant really stand out. And so I think those experiences through both my background and also through my role really helped me mentor JAMP scholars, especially by just providing that kind of one-on-one, there are no stupid questions, all of those insider secrets that might seem a little confusing on the end. I am especially trained to answer because I have to do that with every student that's interested in our program. And I can do that even more so with our JAMP scholars that I have even more one-on-one time with, and have the ability to really get to know during the summer internship programs. And so I think that cool intertwined nature of both my role as an MSC and in my role here in medical school admissions makes me a really valuable resource, as you were mentioning earlier, to our JAMP scholars. Whereas as a normal applicant, you wouldn't have such close access to or an ability to, have that kind of ability to ask me these easy questions that I can definitely give you support with.
Exactly. And you are definitely able to highlight a really important aspect in the benefits of JAMP, is really having this community that I just showed on the screen a minute ago. It's every part, every box on that chart, they have a specialty, they have an experience, they have maybe an obstacle they've learned from, something of that nature that they can pour into you. And that's why this opportunity is really important for you applicants out there, to really kind of motivate you to apply and see this through. You're going to be a part of a community of 800 plus physicians right now here in Texas. And these are JAMP physicians. These are physicians who have gone through this process, have reached these milestones, and you're able to learn and get these guidances and have these experiences. And I did want to take a second and talk about summer internships because it really is one of the biggest pieces that we have, to really prepare you all as future physicians and to allow you to have practical hands-on experiences while you are still pre-med, so not in medical school. And so with JAMP, like it was mentioned, there are 2 summer internship experiences that the medical school coordinator is going to be there at physically. They will be there. They are the ones who help develop the programming on what's happening. And they're going to be there going with you to community events and cultural events, going out there, doing community service hours with you, overseeing all of that, taking you maybe to fun games or different kinds of Zumba classes. But they're really there with you, not only there as a mentor, but also there experiencing this with you. You guys are going to be sharing experiences and you can really develop lifelong and really this tied to your JAMP community long term. We actually have even a council member who was a former JAMP scholar, and she's always talking about the summer internships and the kind of experiences that she still holds really near and dear to her heart. And so these medical school coordinators are really going into the thought and the planning for the summer experiences, really wanting you guys to get the best from these experiences. And so really take advantage when you're there, take advantage of the opportunity. I did want to touch and plug the summer internships a little bit. And you actually highlighted something else I wanted to chat about is your experience and how you found yourself in medical school education, being a mentor. Now on that side of it kind of aligns with my background as well and why I'm so supportive and I love our program of JAMP, and I'm always here to support you guys, is because I was also in the same shoes. I wanted to go to medical school. I went to Arizona State, and finances and support were definitely barriers for me. And this program is designed in a way to be able to alleviate those types of barriers for our applicants. And that is why I know I'm always passionate when I'm talking to you guys about why you should apply to JAMP, because programs like this are not around at every institution. I mean, every institution doesn't have a JAMP program, a coordinator there to really help you through this process. And this is a special opportunity that's available to you across those 68 institutions. So really, really take advantage. If you need some extra support, just let us know. We're always here to support you in any way that we can. So the next question that I do have is, we're talking to our entry year 25 applicants right now. They should be ready to turn in their applications and start this process. So what is the biggest piece of advice that you have for them?
Yeah, I think when I think of advice for this group of students that's about to kind of take the first step into joining this wonderful program, I really feel like you want to just take advantage of all of these amazing, robust opportunities and resources. This is a once in a lifetime way to make your physician dreams come true. If you've ever felt like barriers were in your way or medical school was just not a reality that you could afford, that you would even have access to, or if you're a first generation student or would be a first generation physician that just don't even know who to ask on where to get started, JAMP is an amazing program that offers you a robust and holistic support system that is going to, along with the hard work that you put into it, really develop you into an amazing future student doctor and also an amazing, compassionate healthcare provider one day. And it's such a special opportunity. Please throw your hat in the ring, throw your application out there. It's so important to kind of, believe in yourself and take advantage of opportunities like this. And it seems a little far away, but that moment where you're accepted into medical school is coming faster than you even know it. So taking advantage of a program like this is so huge. And I really encourage you, if you haven't already, or your application is just sitting in that incomplete area, to just go ahead and press that submit button and let us see you, let us interview you. We would love to see you as a part of that future JAMP cohort.
Yes, that is wonderfully said. Today is actually the priority deadline for the entry year 2025 JAMP application. So definitely ensure, if you haven't done so already, to go through your application, ensure that you have those final T's and dotted I's, and get ready to submit today if you can. If not, that official deadline is October 4th by 5 p.m. There will be no exceptions to that deadline. So ensure that you do not wait until the last moment. It is an electronic application, and so you never know what can happen. And so you do not want to wait until the last minute. Don't drag your feet on this. Please do not miss this opportunity, because there are certain time frames that you would need to apply. So you have to apply when you're eligible. And so definitely ensure you press submit no later than October 4th. And then October 18th is when the submission for your supporting documents are due. And again, that is when we work with our JFDs across our 68 institutions. Your JAMP faculty director will be the one who actually uploads your supporting documents on their end. So ensure that you have made those connections, you've located your JFD, and you've started the process and submitted your notice to apply, and have really started the process with them to ensure that you do not miss one step and you get the supporting documents turned in on time. Because if you do not turn in the supporting documents by October 18th, your application will unfortunately be left as incomplete. So you want to ensure you have those turned in on time as well. And the rest of the timeline is, you should hear in January, if you have been in an interview, you have been invited to an interview, no later than probably mid-January. And then at that point, you should just be listening and anticipating, be checking your emails, because in March, you should be getting the email whether you have been admitted into the JAMP program for cohort 20, entry year 25 or not. For more kind of dates, specific dates, you can go to JAMP, texasjamp.org to get those dates on the webpage. If you do have any questions, concerns when it does come to the application or supporting documents, feel free to send us an email at info@texasjamp.org. Give us a phone call at 512-499-4352, Monday through Friday from 8 to 4. Or you can always visit our webpage. We are updating that all the time during this application cycle to ensure that you are informed during this process. So at this time, we're going to go ahead and open up the floor for any questions. Again, this is streaming across multiple platforms, so feel free to drop your comment into whatever platform you're streaming from. If you do have any questions, we are here to make sure that you're not left with any lingering questions after this webinar. So we'll go ahead and wait a couple of minutes for any questions you may have. Right, so I do have a personal message, so I can't stream this one, unfortunately, but it does ask about residency. And this is actually something that is important to talk about because residency, you need to be a Texas resident in order for you to apply for JAMP. JAMP is for Texas residency residents. So if you do have a question, if you're not sure if you're a Texas resident, go ahead and go through the application. There is going to be a residency section. In that section, there is going to be a preliminary determination. And so you'll answer questions, and it's going to go ahead and tell you if you are conditionally looked at as a Texas resident or if there needs to be another layer of investigation done by TMDSAS. And so you can go into the application and get that predetermination. If you have further questions, just reach out and we'll be happy to assist along the way. Great question. All right, so we do have another question. Are there any negative effects about waiting until October 4th to submit the application? There are not. You can wait until October 4th. Can being the operative word there. I do not suggest waiting until the last minute. I understand wanting to make sure it's perfect, wanting to have as many eyes on it as possible, and kind of dragging your feet because it is a big thing. But you don't want to wait until the last minute and risk there being an issue or something that can hinder you being able to apply for this cycle. So you don't want anything to happen. Just go ahead and get that in, even if it's the day before. Just don't wait until the last day because you're not going to be the only one submitting at the last minute. There's going to be others, which can cause traffic, which can cause issues. So you don't want to put yourself in that situation, but you can wait until about October 3rd. That is a great question, though, as today is the priority deadline. And with that, it's enough time. We're about 2 weeks out from the deadline. It's enough time for you to go through your supporting documents, work with your JFD at this point to make sure that you're ready to go for supporting documents and you're not waiting until the last minute there. If there are any, one second, I did get another personal message. If you do have any issues with the application itself, so there is an awesome tool inside of the application where you can send a message. If you send a message inside of the application, it's going to go right to TMDSAS and JAMP administration, and we'll be able to answer it right inside of that application, and it can actually highlight whatever section you have a question pertaining to. Great question if you have an issue with the application itself. Perfect. So this question is for both of us. If I feel like my GPA may not allow me to become a competitive applicant, are there any other areas you would recommend that I can improve? I'm going to go ahead and let Mr. Truong attempt this question first?
Yeah, thank you so much for the great question, Daniel. I think really one of the best places to really highlight what makes you unique and competitive as an applicant is actually in that personal statement and in any of the essay questions where you have the opportunity to just share about yourself, share about the way that you align with JAMP's mission and goals and how being a part of this program can really make your reality of becoming a future physician a reality. And so I think making sure to take the time to craft a really good personal statement, maybe working with the resources that are available at your campus to kind of really refine that application would be really helpful, especially if you know that there's an area that you want to kind of improve from, like your GPA in this case. I would say there's also multiple parts of this application. There are experiences and service areas and student org involvement that you can list as well, and definitely spend the time to talk about how those experiences have prepared you for a future of healthcare service. And I think all of those pieces combined, spending the time to really write well in each of those categories is going to help the people that are reviewing this application make a really informed decision regarding your possible interview with JAMP.
Exactly. You highlighted everything that I was thinking, because the essay portion of the application really allows that narrative for you. It's outside of that black and white. I always say that's the gray area that you can really showcase yourself and paint that picture. If you have not done so already, we had a segment, our last segment, we were talking about some tips and tricks about the essay portion of the application. I do talk about aligning the AAMC competencies and thinking through those and some of your experiences, because it's really about holistically reviewing every application. And so what our committees do is they review every application individually and holistically. So they're looking at more than just that GPA, they're looking at you in your entirety. And so the more that you're able to really paint that picture for them, they're able to really understand and get to see you better as a person and make, Mr. Truong said, that informed decision there. So great question. Next question. As JAMP faculty and former applicants, what makes an application stand out? So, Mr. Truong, what do you think makes an application stand out, whether that be JAMP or applying to medical school? Because they're very similar.
Yes, I would say being able to communicate really clearly in those written portions why being a physician matters to you and why it aligns with your future goals, and being able to communicate that in a way that shows your authentic desire to become a physician, and those motivation pieces is really important. I think the more you can portray your authentic self in the writing and what has brought you to being interested and having this really deep desire to be a physician is so important to communicate to anyone who's reading any application for both medical school or for JAMP. And so the more time you can really spend crafting and thinking about that and reflecting on the different things that have inspired you or motivated you to pursue a career in medicine is just really important. I would say don't just type and just accept whatever you write first. I would, write a draft, think about it, sleep on it, then maybe like read it to a friend, see if they understand it, and then, take another look at it. Really think deeply about it. Don't just write the first thoughts that come to mind. Because I think it's in your real, authentic, unique experience that you will shine through the application, whether that's through JAMP or for medical school.
Exactly. It's really about just showcasing yourself and really, what do you want them to know about you? What are your goals? Something to also think about is, what is happening in Texas? What are there any goals that you have? Do you want to open up your own private practice? Is there anything that you have, anything that can make you stand out a little bit with your story? Any goals specifically that you have? I mean, if you want to save the world, put you want to save the world and tie it into your application, but really being able to tie in those experiences and motivations, because the reality is that JAMP is a competitive program. The average GPA is 3.74 for you to get into entry year 24 last year. And so there's going to be a lot of 4.0 applicants. There's going to be 3.75. So what are things outside of those numbers that really can, what are things that you've done? Have you volunteered anywhere? Volunteer work is also important. It's not even just have you been in a clinic and have clinical experience. What are things that you've maybe shadowed and saw and maybe experienced in that way? Or what are some trials and tribulations that you've had to overcome and have done that successfully during your journey here? Those are things to really think about when you're writing your essay to make you stand out a bit. And then another thing I want to talk about is that we have 2 required essay portions, but we also have an optional essay. And that optional essay is a section for you to, if you do feel like you're socially, economically disadvantaged, you come from that background, to explain why, just explain what are some experiences that you've had to overcome. So there are opportunities for you to really tell your story in the JAMP application. So go ahead and take advantage of that optional essay if you feel like your situation fits that. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and leave the floor open for a couple of more minutes. Oh, it seems unclear how, if an app is submitted November 1st, which is the last TMD SAS submission date for many schools, how it can get processed fast enough for secondaries due November 15th. Mr. Truong, do you want to talk about the secondary application?
Yeah, and I think this question is kind of directed towards the actual medical school application and interview process. What I will say is every institution has a robust team of people that are taking a look at applications as they're submitted. We know that these deadlines are going to be high traffic periods for us as our offices. And so we are especially equipped to analyze and screen through all of these applications. And make sure that we can get your secondaries all settled and we can communicate anything that we need. If we're talking about TMD SAS processing your application and getting it to us, that process is extremely automated and streamlined, and TMD SAS does a great job of making sure us as medical schools get everything as fast as possible. They're the ones who set the deadlines, and so they're aware of the high traffic periods, and we'll make sure that your application is very well taken care of. So as long as you are meeting those deadlines and following all the rules and procedures, you're in good hands. I absolutely promise you. We are not reinventing the wheel here. We've got teams and teams that are supporting you in reading these applications. And just like I was saying earlier, we want to see those dreams of becoming a physician come true as well. So we are advocating for you. We are looking for those applications. We are looking for people that fit our mission and values at every institution. And so as long as you're following those guidelines and procedures, you will be well taken care of.
Perfect. That was exactly what I was going to say and hit all the points. Yes, that was perfect. Let me see. Do you guys have any more questions for myself on behalf of JAMP administration or Mr. Truong on behalf of medical school coordinators? Awesome. Well, it was great having you here today as our guest speaker. It was great for us to get to learn a little bit more about you and the medical school coordinators and their roles as part of the JAMP community.
Thank you so much for having me, and best of luck to everyone applying this cycle for JAMP.
All right. Bye, everybody. We will see you back next week for our next edition of the Entry Year 2025 Live JAMP Office Hours. See you then.